Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of Scratch where we're going to implement all that we've learned in the past few classes and create a space attack game. So the sprites that are there on my screen are the Earth, a rocket ship, a laser, a rock, this tiny rock that you see over here, and a game over sprite that will show up the moment the game is over, which is 30 seconds. So the time to play this game is 30 seconds. So I've uploaded all the sprites onto my stage, and I've uploaded the backdrop as well, which is stars that I found in the stage library. So let's go ahead and quickly dive into it. Apart from having uploaded the sprites and the backdrop, I have also created two variables, names of which are score and time. So I went to variables and clicked on make a variable and made two new variables, that is the score and the time. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to first start programming from the backdrop. So I'm going to select the backdrop from over here so that a watermark image of my backdrop appears on the screen like this. And now starting from the obvious, that is when green flag is clicked. So when green flag is clicked, the score is supposed to be set to 0. So drag and drop from my variables category this particular code block and set the score to 0 the moment green flag is clicked. Dragging and dropping another event code block which is again green flag is clicked. So when the green flag is clicked, I am going to go to the control again and drag and drop forever onto my screen. Then wait for 1 second and change my variable by 1. So my variable that is supposed to change by 1 after every passing second is the time. So this time we're going to start the timer not from 0 but from 30, and it's going to decrease itself. So let's change the time by -1 this time, and now let's set the initial value for the time when the green flag will be clicked. So let's go to events again, drag and drop when the green flag is clicked, and when the green flag is clicked, then set my variable which is time to 30. So as I told, this time the timer is going to run in a decreasing fashion, which is 30, 29, 28, like that. And it's supposed to wait until, I'm sorry, go to the control and drag and drop wait until what? Then pick the assignment operator from the operators category. 1 second, yeah, there it is. So wait until my variable which is time equals 0. The moment this happens, you're supposed to get the message, um, broadcast message, new message, and the message will be game over. Upon receiving this message, I would like to activate the sprite that I've uploaded, which is the game over sprite, and then show it on the screen, for which we're going to have to go to the game over. So let's go to game over and program for it right away. So when green flag is clicked, okay, let's not initially hide it. Let it be there on the screen. So when green flag is clicked, let's hide it then. So go to looks and drag and drop hide onto my screen, and then when I receive the message game over, then it's supposed to show itself, as well as applying the layer, the concept of layering, show itself and go to the topmost layer, which is the front layer. Apart from all of this, the rest of all the actions that were running in the game are supposed to stop. So going to control and dragging and dropping stop all on my screen. So this is the code that is supposed to be there for game over. Now that we are done programming it, let's move on to the earth. So earth will only be there for kind of beautifying the game. That's why the only task that it's supposed to do is like be there. So when green flag is clicked, it's supposed to go backward 2 layers though. The reason behind it is because we want the rocket ship, which is like kind of the hero of the game, that to be on the front layer, the laser and the rocks to be in the second layer, and the earth to be at the like behind it all. So that's why we are making it go backward 2 layers. So with this, we are done programming for the earth as well. Now let's go ahead and program for the rocket ship. So yeah, so how the game is going to work is, these rocks, they are going to start off from the right side of the stage, and they're going to rotate at their own place, appear anywhere, top to bottom, but like towards the right side of the stage. So all the rocks, we are going to later duplicate the rock and the code that we wrote for it. So all the rocks that we've duplicated will be appearing towards this end of the stage, up, down, wherever. We're going to give that a random number, and they're going to rotate onto their place and then slowly move towards this end of the screen where the rocket ship is. And the job of the rocket ship is to basically fire a laser onto the rocks, and the moment the rocks either hit the laser, like the laser either hits the rock or the rocks hit the edge, they're going to disappear and then again come towards this end, appear over here, anywhere over here but towards the right side, and then the same process follows over and over again. So for the rocket ship to be able to fire the laser, it is supposed to be able to move up and down. It is supposed to be able to move up and down but not point in that direction. Let's see how we're going to do that. So when green flag is clicked, I'm going to go to the events and drag and drop when green flag is clicked. So when green flag is clicked, it is supposed to go to the front layer. So I am going to go to the looks category and go to the topmost layer. Now programming for the arrow keys, how is the user going to move the rocket ship up and down? So drag and drop when space key is pressed, change it to up arrow key. It is supposed to um, point in direction upwards and move of 40 steps. Let's duplicate this one to make another code block for the down arrow key. So when the down arrow key is pressed, it's supposed to point in direction this and move 40 steps. Yes, that's it. But how to restrict my rocket ship to point up and down? Like it's supposed to point only towards the rocks. So for that, I'm going to go to this panel over here, click on direction, and okay, we've already restricted it on to do not rotate. So it's been set in this direction and restricted to do not rotate, which is perfectly fine. So with this, we are done programming for the movements of the rocket ship as well. Now the most important part, which is the rocks. So let's go ahead and click on the rocks and start programming for them. So as I told you, the rock is going to be rotating at its own place as well as moving towards the rocket ship in one line, but it's supposed to appear anywhere towards the right side once it's hit by a laser or it touches the edge. So for that, I am going to go ahead and drag the obvious, which is when green flag is clicked. Then the rocket, I'm sorry, then the rock is supposed to wait for, like, let's leave that to it. Let's say it can wait from 0 seconds to 3 seconds for any amount of time that it wants. Then it is supposed to show itself where exactly. For that, we are going to provide it with the xy coordinates. So go to xy. For this, let the x be where it is right now, but for y, as I told you, the rock, let's not make it obvious that the rock every time is going to appear over this side only. Let the rock appear anywhere in this line. So for that, we're going to allow the computer to pick a random number from -180 to 180. Then what's going to happen is drag and drop forever over here and repeat until. So until the x position of this rock changes to the area where it is touching the edge, or until the time it is touching the laser, it is going to keep changing its x position by -5, which means that it's going to keep moving towards the rocket ship. So let's go to operators, drag and drop an or in the repeat until, and then go to, yeah, again the operators, and till the time the x position is less than -220, or let's go to sensing, if it is touching the laser, till the time this is happening, keep changing the position of my rock by -5. There. Now what will happen if it touches the laser? For that, let's go to the control tab again, drag and drop an if then, place it below repeat until. So let's go to sensing, if it is touching the mouse pointer is dragged, change it to if it's touching the laser. Now the moment the rock touches the laser, it's supposed to hide itself, thereby resulting in some points to the player. So it's supposed to hide, and how will the player win points? By changing my variable, which is the score, let's say by 2 points. Okay. After that, it is supposed to again go to X position, this, and pick a random Y position from -180 to 180, and it's supposed to show itself. Okay. Yes. Also, one more thing that we're forgetting is that the rocks are supposed to rotate also at their own place. For which, let's go to events and drag and drop when green flag is clicked. Then go to control, drag and drop forever, and then motion. Turn these many degrees. Change 15 to 8, I believe. That's perfectly fine. So with this, we are done programming for the rock as well. Now the last thing that is left to program is the laser. But before doing that, let us duplicate the rocks and have 4 such rocks on our screen. So I am going to duplicate it, place it somewhere over here, increase its size to 50, and change this X position to what the X position of it is right now. Alright. Then go ahead and duplicate it again. The entire code will also be duplicated along with the rock image getting duplicated. 1 second. Yeah, so again, make it 182, increase its size, instead of 50, let's make it 60. Click on the rock, duplicate it again, place it somewhere here. This time the size will be 70, and the X position will be 186. Okay, great. So with this, we are done with all the obstacles that are going to be there in the game. However, we will not be programming for the game to work in a way where when the rocks hit the rocket ship, the game gets over. That is a part of challenge. So you guys are going to have to do it on your own. Now the last thing that was left was the laser. So let's go ahead and program for the laser. Now the laser is going to hide in case if it either touches the edge or if it touches the rock, resulting in a bonus score. Right, so for that, let's go ahead, go to events, drag and drop when green flag is clicked. The laser is supposed to go backward one layer. So going to looks, dragging and dropping, go forward one layer, change forward to backward. Now we want the laser to be connected to the space bar on our keyboard. For that, I'm going to go to the events, and when space key is pressed, drag and drop it onto my screen. So the moment the space key is pressed, the laser is supposed to show itself right where it is right now, which is next to the rocket ship. So I'm going to go to looks and drag and drop show over here. Also it's supposed to go to the rocket ship. Yeah. Now this phenomenon is supposed to repeat until it either touches a rock, like not this phenomenon, but the phenomenon of the laser moving with a good speed towards the rocks, like towards the right side of the screen. So that phenomenon is supposed to repeat itself until it either touches the rock or it touches any of the edges. So we have a total of 4 rocks and there's the edge, so we have a total of 5 or options in the repeat until, for which we're going to go to the operator and drag and drop an or onto our screen, drag and drop another or inside the or, because we want a total of 5 places wherein we could mention all the possibilities the laser is touching right now. So yeah, now change. Instead of change, let's make it move. Instead of 10, let's make it 30. And then go to looks and hide. Okay, now it's supposed to repeat itself until it is touching the edge, or if it's touching the rocks, or if it is touching the second rock that we have, or again if it's touching the third rock that we have, or the last option, that is if it's touching the last rock that we have. So with this we have done programming for the game. We included a score and a timer. The timer this time is running from 30 seconds onwards, like it's supposed to decrease in decreasing fashion. Then we have the laser, we have game over on our screen. So if I'm not wrong, we have programmed for everything, and now it's time to test it on our game and check and see if it's working fine. So let's maximize the screen, click on the green flag, use the up down keys. Okay, so yes, my laser is